But looking forward, the United States now on Saturday they play the round of 16 game against the Netherlands. And this is probably the biggest match of look, Iran was the biggest match in these guys' lives. Well, now it's this one. Now they're playing the real biggest match, and this is for all the marbles, pretty much. It's win or go home at this point. So well, I don't know which one of y'all wants to take this first, but whichever.
I'll let Adam take this one.
What is your expectation for this match, and then ultimately, what do you think will happen in the match? What a score?
So talk about the Netherlands, our opponent. The Netherlands are a team that have very much surprised me in this tournament. Mostly, not necessarily because they're better than I thought, but because they're kind of the exact opposite of what I thought they were going to be going into this tournament. I thought they were going to be a team that was controlling the majority of their games, but was going to lack that cutting edge in front of goal. And in the 3 games that we've seen, especially against Senegal and against Ecuador, they haven't really had control of either of those games, but they had that cutting edge that I thought they didn't have. And that's because of the player they have up top, Cody Gakpo, who, if he gets a half chance in this World Cup, he's scoring right now.
Yeah, Gakpo scored in every single game he's played so far.
Tied for the Golden Boot lead right now.
Yeah.
He's on fire right now. The Netherlands have been ruthless.
And he's like 23 years old. He's super young.
Yeah, all the big clubs are going to be calling for him now.
The Netherlands have been absolutely ruthless in front of goal. I mean, they've created, I think, like 4 big chances. They scored 5 goals. The U.S. have created 5 big chances, scored 2 goals. So that kind of shows the difference between these two teams in front of goal right now. Still a very hard team to score against. I mean, that's what you would expect with a team that plays 5 defenders, and one of those defenders happens to be and one of those defenders is Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
And they've only conceded the 1 goal in the tournament, just like the U.S. So logically, this sounds like it's going to be a very low-scoring game, but we've seen crazier things in soccer. Sometimes you think it's going to be low-scoring, all of a sudden you got a 4-3 game. So it's very hard to predict. I think that the U.S. can get at. I think if the U.S. can get at them, I think the Netherlands all are vulnerable, though. Especially against Ecuador, we saw the Netherlands get outshot 15-2 in that game.
Yeah.
So I think if the U.S. does come out and they are aggressive with their pressing, I think that the U.S. has a great shot in this game. They can make this game very competitive.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So what would you say if you had to take a guess right now? What would the score prediction?
The score prediction. I think the U.S. are going to find it hard to score, like they've had in all games. I feel like I have to back the U.S. though, right? I mean,
you got to die on the sword.
I have to back us, right? So I'm gonna say, I think we'll get one in the first half because that's kind of been our half. And then we'll fall back a bit in the second half. The Netherlands will get an equalizer, and then we'll nick one late and win 2-1.
Okay,
2-1 win for the United States.
Who scores the winner?
In normal, who scores the winner?
What do you think? Who are you backing?
It's a Weston McKennie header.
Weston McKennie. Oh, he's the header. Okay,
actually, that might be a good. Weston McKennie might be taken off by then.
Yeah, he usually gets like subbed off at the 16-minute. I think is a bit. I mean,
it's something. I honestly expected Weston to be doing better on the set pieces. The set piece delivery so far this World Cup hasn't been that great from Pulisic specifically, but Weston, he always scores headers, especially for Juventus. So I don't know. I expected him to maybe bag one by now.
Get one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big worry I have with this team in knockout soccer is that defending and attacking set pieces we have not been good. Like especially against Wales. Wales somehow did not score off one of the corners they had.
Yeah,
they created.
I remember even the England game. They keep such a high line.
Even off corners. Like we're not a very aerially dominant team. Like even that center back pairing that I was praising earlier between Ream and Carter Vickers, they won less than half of their aerial duels in that game.
Yeah. And Ream, he's had a great World Cup though. So yeah, and to much surprise, especially to me. Look, I didn't think Reem was going to be, this good, for this team, but he has been. So, G, I'll pass this one off to you before I go ahead and give my expectations to the match. What do you
Oh
think going
God,
into this game, the United States and the Netherlands?
I think I think it's gonna be a pretty ugly game. These are two pretty solid defensive teams, and I think it's just gonna be, the U.S. in the first half is gonna put them on them. They're gonna be all over them, but I think they're gonna struggle to create as many chances that they've been creating, and I don't think they're clinical enough to finish the little chances they would get. I see this one, U.S. starting off strong, having a somewhat dominant first half, and then second half, like Adam said, probably taking a step off. But I have it being a 0-0 and going to penalties. I I have a feeling this is going to be the one to go to penalties, and if it's going to penalties, I gotta back the U.S. As much as I've been giving Zach shit, off camera about how the U.S. are going out. With penalties, literally anything can happen, and I think the U.S. players have the moxie to get by on penalties. I think they'll get it. If I were to predict it, I think U.S. just don't miss a pen, and I think they just save one from Netherlands. All it takes is the one. So I got the U.S. going through on penalties.
That's bold, considering how young this team is to have that moxie, as you say, to be able to win on penalties against a somewhat experienced Dutch side. That would be incredible, I would say. But if it does come down to
I think
penalty
I,
shooting,
I think
I
they
trust Matt Turner.
Yeah, you got to trust Matt Turner in that
Matt Turner
situation.
is a beast. So, look, I have to agree with both of y'all. For all the points that both of y'all made, I think it's fair. I think I can agree with G that it is going to be a slightly ugly game because both of these teams are very strong defensively, and the Netherlands also do have a great midfield, but the United States has prided itself on its midfield so far this tournament. So I think this match comes down to if the U.S. can win the midfield battle once again. If they can win the midfield battle and be dominant with their midfield trio, they're going to have a good chance in this match. I think there's not going to be many chances for either side, and that tends to bode well for the Netherlands, considering, like Adam said, they've been so clinical in front of goal with their chances that they do get. I would anticipate it going to extra time. I think it's going to be 1-1 after full time. Maybe the U.S. gets a goal in the first half, Netherlands get one in the second half. It goes to extra time, and I have it going to pens as well. I think that it's going to be tough for either of these two teams to score. They're both going to get a goal, but it's going to be tough. I don't see this being a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. I don't really see either team being able to score 2 or 3 goals. It's going to be a simple 1-1, go into penalties. And then, like we already reiterated, if it goes to penalties, you got to trust Matt Turner, especially with the tournament that he's been having. He's one of, if not the best shot stopper at the World Cup. So I have to back Matt Turner. Give me the U.S. on penalties, 5-3 on penalties. Simple as that. 1-1 after full time, 1-1, and then 5-3 on penalties. I think it's good. It's going to be an ugly game, but I think that suits the United States.
Do the Netherlands have Tim Krul
Yeah.
this time around?
Do they have Tim
Tim
Krul?
Krul.
I
think isn't
don't
Tim
know.
Krul like 40?
Yeah,
They probably don't, right? They don't have him on penalties, so
No,
they can't win a penalty
I
shootout
think
this time.
yeah.
Adam, I wanted to get more in-depth thoughts about your thoughts on Matt Turner so far this World Cup.
Damn. Well, we knew coming into this tournament that Matt Turner was a great shot stopper. He was very good at all the fundamentals of being a goalkeeper, claiming crosses. But I think a lot of people have been surprised with his distribution this World Cup and the ability with his feet. I remember in World Cup qualifying, whenever the ball would go to Matt Turner's feet, I think every U.S. fan's heart stopped. Like, they didn't trust him with the ball at his feet, especially when there was a player nearby him. But I think he's slowly calming the nerves of those people. Like, I remember again, even against Iran, he had one point where he had the ball on his left foot with a defender pressuring him, and he kicked the ball into the middle. And I was like, no, what are you doing? And then it ended up just going to McKennie wide open.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, he saw that. And that's when I was like, and I was like, okay, this guy is good with his feet now.
He's starting to get it. He's starting to get it.
Maybe he starts for Arsenal now.
That's what I was going to ask you because you hinted at it. Do you think Matt Turner should be starting for Arsenal when the World Cup is over?
I would not throw him into the starting 11. Like, off the rip because you don't want to change what's working right now.
Hmm.
Obviously, Arsenal top of the
The
league,
smart answer, yeah.
but I mean, if
Yeah.
Ramsdale's poor shot stopping, like if shot type takes a downturn like it did the last season, I mean, Matt Turner, maybe Arteta thinks maybe we should go for Matt Turner.
Hmm.
Maybe see if
Does Arteta
the
even
ability with
speak
his feet
English,
is good
dude?
enough.
Shit.
No,
No,
Arteta likes
no, he
Matt
does.
Turner, so.
But yeah, no, yeah, no, but yeah, it would take a huge tournament for him to do that. I mean, especially with him being top of the league. But I would agree with Adam with that. Yeah, it would take
Yeah.
Ramsdale just to fall off a cliff.
Yes,
I
I mean,
wanted
some
to-
Arsenal fans are not happy with Ramsdale. I think that's why the question was posed. And plus, Matt Turner having a good tournament so far. So
Dude, how can you be happy when not being top of the league, dude? That's some like Arsenal fan shit. I never
Adam's
heard
an
that in my
Arsenal fan. I
life,
think
bro.
he's extremely pleased with it.
I wanted
He's
to
pleased.
The top of the
go
league,
back
top
to
of the
something
league.
you guys are saying because you
Wait,
guys both had the U.S. getting through extra time
uh-huh.
in your scores. I do
Mhm.
not like our chances in extra time,
You don't.
to be honest, because I think we've seen with our players that the fitness levels just aren't there with like the top teams.
Mhm.
And like against England, for example, in the second half, it seems like at times England's just had superior fitness levels to that of ours. And I just feel
Mhm.
like in extra time, the Dutch fitness levels could play a massive factor, especially because we have not seen Berhalter use his subs well.
I could agree with that. It definitely has. Definitely, the subs haven't been used well. I just think I find it hard to believe that we'd be able to hold the Dutch to a clean sheet, and I don't think, you know, if they score, obviously we're gonna have to score, and I don't see us scoring like 2-3 goals or whatever. So, I see it. It's either gonna be 1-1, like I said, or it's gonna get to that point where the fitness levels may play a factor, and then the Dutch, they ultimately sneak a goal in. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I have to back the U.S. I think that's why I lean towards the way that I lean. Going with extra time here.
That's
Yeah,
why
I
put
just
my-
don't think
win in normal
the
time.
Netherlands have the firepower to do that.
That's why I put the
I don't-
US win
I
in
just-
normal time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, if they can
In normal
score 2
time.
goals, that'd be great. The problem is they've only scored 2 goals throughout the whole group stage. So, I don't know if that's going to happen. And plus,
Yeah, do it in one game now.
given the Netherlands playing 5 at the back, anti-football Van Gaal tactics, I don't know. They're going to be difficult to break down.
I don't know if I'd call it anti-football.
Anytime I think
Dude, anybody
5
that
at the
plays
back,
5 in the back is anti-football. That's like a sin. It's like a cardinal sin, bro. You play 5 in the back, you literally deserve just to be like publicly executed, dude.
But it doesn't operate like a 5
It's
in the
like-
back when you have
It's
the
just,
ball.
yeah, I mean, look, the Netherlands obviously they are slightly more attacking than the average 5 at the back team, but it's the overall 5 at the back concept. I don't like 5 at the back, and it's what it is for me.
especially on defense, bro. It's so annoying, man. It's just like
It's so difficult
why
to break down.
you just
I
put
understand why they
everybody
do it.
behind the ball, man. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah,
It makes sense, but it's like obviously it's more of like a from the middle factor. Like I don't, it's like from watching it just as a neutral, kind of not the greatest thing to watch. But like if my team were just doing 5 back and it was working, I wouldn't give a shit though. To be fair,
yeah, no, I could agree with that.
Yeah, but when the Netherlands formation,
Yeah.
if you play that like correctly and in the best way possible, it's not a defensive formation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant to be a formation in which you just sit back and counterattack the whole time.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I don't think
would
that's how
agree with
Van Gaal
that,
intends
but
it.
but the problem with the Netherlands is that they're not creating the chances. So I don't know.
Yeah. So it kind of does kind of seem what it feels like it falls into that because they're not really scoring that much. So like it would kind of seem like they just sit back a lot. But I think they don't necessarily sit back a lot. It's just they're kind of trying to break teams down and they struggle to break teams down because they don't really have, like kind of like the US, they don't have that 1-9. I mean, I don't know how to tell you. Depay they ain't doing it right now, man. But
They don't have
definitely not.
Robin and Van Persie anymore. That's for sure.
No, definitely
Dude,
not.
they got to
Or
get them
Van
back out
Nistelrooy
there.
like they did back in the
They
day.
have
Or
Gakpo.
any-
Van Nistelrooy.
But the Netherlands have always had iconic nines, but
They do
they're
have
not quite
Gakpo
anymore.
though.
The
Maybe
Bear,
Gakpo's
They do have
the
Gakpo.
Bergkamp.
They
Gakpo.
do have Gakpo.
He's not bad.
So-
He's pretty good.
Any final words about the U.S., Adam?
The U.S. just needs to go for it. They need to press high. They need to try and control the game with the ball as much as possible. And if they do those things, especially in the first half, to grab a goal, that second half, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. has a real chance this Saturday and a chance to make it to the farthest that they've ever gone in a World Cup in my lifetime, even though I was 1 year old
Mm-hmm.
when we made the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't exactly see that.
Yeah, no, me either.
You couldn't
You know,
get
I'd
that
like
on the
to see that.
television?
I'd like to see that.
I would love to see it as well. And all three of us have it happening, I will say, maybe a little bit of it is that
I don't think
the
any of
blind
it's bias.
fandom,
I
but-
think it's all logic.
yeah, I think it is,
absolutely no bias,
it's all logic, 100% all logic.
Like it's like a math equation in my brain. I worked it out. The U.S. is only winning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. If
Makes sense, yeah, makes
I'm a betting man, bet the house on them. Go to Vegas right now, bet
Oh,
the
yeah.
house.
Oh, Jesus.
United States middle line, go bet the house. It's happening.